It is possible to speak of certain historical events, even entire epochs, as overdetermined. To be overdetermined is to be the result of myriad and disparate causes, such that from a future vantage point, the event can only be viewed as inevitable. It is to be so weighed down by historical exigence that the occurrence must have been demanded by time itself. But overdetermination is also an obfuscation. We owe the term to Sigmund Freud, who employed it in his study of dream formation. He makes a distinction between dream content, the odd assortment of sensations and pictures which constitute the details of the dream, and the latent dream thoughts, the decoded message of the dream that often remains unparsed even by the dreamer. In comparison to the analytically rich dream thoughts, Freud calls the dream meager, paltry, and laconic. The dream is a tremendous work of condensation. Each of its seemingly random elements has in fact been overdetermined by the dream thoughts which led to it. Our dreams could never have been anything but that which they are. One such dream recently captured our national consciousness. This TikTok video of a man longboarding, drinking cran raspberry juice, and lip-syncing to Fleetwood Mac's 1977 song. TikTok, and the internet at large, is a sort of dream. Airy, weightless, ephemeral, half-remembered and barely understood. As soon as we wake up or log off, the memory of our dream is already fading. But sometimes, dreams leave such an impression on us that we can't let go of them. We latch onto them, consider their import for our waking lives. We recreate them, hoping to recapture their enchantment, or perhaps merely to discover what made them so arresting. This is what befell the dream of Nathan Apodaca. This video has affected me deeply, and it is clear that this is the case for millions of others. There is a smoothness, an effortlessness to it. Apodaca does not drink the juice, he takes a swig. And because the lip-syncing only comes into the video halfway through, we are caught off guard by his exuberance and carefree posture. We never see the longboard. Apodaca seems to glide just above the pavement, unmoored by the earthly tether to which the rest of us are subject. You say you want your freedom, well, who am I to keep you down? Perhaps the most succinct way to describe the video is with the two words everyone else has used: chill vibes. But we can go further when we treat the dream as a thought factory, in Freud's words. To investigate the latent dream thoughts, which we could think of as the material reality which conspired to produce this TikTok, we must identify the nodal points where the dream thoughts encounter one another. The symbols in the video are the hieroglyphics overdetermined by the forces of late capitalism under which we all labor. Freud argues that all dreams are wish fulfillment. So what wishes are manifested in this video? We should not reduce everything to economic contingency, however. Louis Althusser warns us that even though history always progresses in the last instance through economic factors, the economic dialectic is never active in the pure state. Superstructures are never seen to step respectfully aside when their work is done. From the first moment to the last, the lonely hour of the last instance never comes. Here, Althusser is speaking of how in history, the great events are always overdetermined from multiple vectors. Cultural superstructures play a significant role in historical sea changes. Thus, in analyzing this TikTok dream, we must pay attention to its contradictory unity. The whole is not merely greater than its parts, it is a unique entity altogether. I will analyze the three most important symbols in the dream: the feather tattoo, the ocean spray, and the unseen longboard. You might expect that the song is also of great import, but Freud reminds us that the dream is centered elsewhere. Its content is arranged about elements which do not constitute the central point of the dream thoughts. In this case, the song Dreams is the nexus around which the real content of the dream coagulates. It is more affectual than structural. Apodaca claims Northern Arapaho heritage on his mother's side. He is from the Wind River Indian Reservation in Wyoming. The Northern Arapaho have a tragically long history of being relocated, stolen from, and massacred by the United States government. From the gold rush of the mid-19th century to the oil blitz of the 70s and 80s, profit has driven America to deny Northern Arapaho sovereignty and rights. Knowing this history, what do we make of the feather tattoo? A symbol of resilience, a marker of identity, these are easy enough to discern. But dreams, lacking grammar as we know it, find other ways to embed their meaning. The tattoo is at once more and less than the object it depicts. It is not the real feather. It has no texture or materiality. And yet, being inscribed on the skin, it can never be lost. It is tied to the body it adorns, will persist as long as that body does. It is a ghostly object that alerts us to the waking sleep of late modernity, a symbol of the past, already dead and resurrected, the whispered promise of its present. The juice cocktail and the longboard can only be judged in the same glance. Nathan Apodaca is riding his longboard to his job at a potato factory. His truck lies stalled 1 mile back along the highway, and so he grabs his ocean spray, his longboard, and the vibes carry him to the clock-in line, where he posts the video that brings him to stardom. Within a matter of days, everyone from politicians to soldiers to Mick Fleetwood himself have posted tribute videos. A GoFundMe has been set up in Apodaca's name, and Ocean Spray has gifted him a new truck stocked with cranberry juice cocktail. Apodaca, who lives in a trailer with his 2 daughters, now has a manager and a lawyer, but still no electricity or running water. His dream is to be able to afford a home. He tells journalists, "I'm trying to start life," basically. In his own words, his life began when he was plucked from obscurity and placed in a position of commanding national attention. The focus and appeal of this dream, if we go by online comments and media profiles, is again on the good vibes Apodaca displays in the face of a major setback. He persevered with a smile, setting an example for every worker burdened with the necessity of selling his labor in order to survive. His attitude is transformative of his labor, and his labor makes him worthy to be uplifted by Ocean Spray, TLC, and a whole host of potential branding opportunities. Capitalism has always predicated its ideology on the transcendent power of labor as a cure-all and as a justification for the plight of the disenfranchised. Michel Foucault traces this impulse to the founding myth of Christianity. Since the fall, man had accepted labor as a penance and for its power to work redemption. It was not a law of nature which forced man to work, but the effect of a curse. And yet, even constant toil is no guarantee of a good harvest, let alone a place in God's kingdom. We are obliged to work ourselves to the bone, even as we know it is only by the grace of God that we will advance our lot in life. It is the same now as then, only God is dead. His corpse adorns the recessed wall of the Ocean Spray CEO's boardroom. The longboard is communion, the broken body of Apodaca's truck transubstantiated, a medium between the dead vehicle and the resurrected one. Cran Raspberry is the Christ. Only through it do we have any recourse to salvation. Dreams condense the history which overdetermines them. In that condensation, they obscure their constitutive forces and the shared plight of the unseen dreamers. I love Nathan Apodaca and wish him all the best. I've watched his video dozens of times, and after each I am innervated, as though the palate of my immortal soul has been cleansed. But this video had to happen. The year 2020 demanded it. Late Capitalism demanded that it be Apodaca, a man laboring to produce a crop which the coronavirus pandemic has seen gone to abject waste, dumped into mass graves. A man at once universal and particular, embodying the plight of the American worker as well as the specific colonial trauma suffered by the native community. Late capitalism required such a man to dream the dream we all have dreamt, and to do it with a smile. A lone offering on behalf of all mankind, an unholy inversion of the atonement, whereby we reap no reward but the spectacle thereof. Have you any dreams you'd like to sell? Dreams of loneliness, like a heartbeat drives you mad in the stillness of remembering. Thanks for watching this strange video. I hope you'll give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in more deep dives into capitalism and media and how all of that intersects. Next week, I think we'll be taking a look at some video games, so stick around for that.